This is the morning of the $400 buy-in tournament. Just chilling on the beach. Hen- Henry's in the room right now, having a good sleep in. It's around 2:30 p.m. Registration opens at 5 p.m. at the Hard Rock, so that's what we're gonna be doing. Let's see if I can show you guys this view. Well, not a fantastic view, but about to go in the water, just relax all morning, do some laps in the ocean, get the exercise in, and then well, we'll see. Hopefully we can run good, run deep in this thing. That'd be fantastic to make day two. So without further ado, here we go.
He's like, hey, just focus on it, because they were like, they weren't gonna give me pain meds, and they were like,
What on earth? Oh my god. Oh guys, we have found our home. Jets to win tonight. Good luck. Go Winnipeg. Let's go. Let's go. So I did not end up registering for this tournament because it was late reg and we would have had 10 big blinds going in. And Henry and I just did not want to grind a tournament not playing together. Also, my net worth was not that much, and the tournament was $400, so that was like, I don't know, a quarter of it when it's a tournament and the variance is way too high, and I'm probably not going to win, right? Like, I know that's what this trip is about, but sorry for slow rolling you guys to this thinking it was a tournament video when it's just ended up being a cash game. However, it's a really good cash game session, and of course I lied. It's poker, Phil. Anyhow, we start off this session at 8:30 p.m. and our first interesting hand is at 8:44. I look down at Queen 5 of Spades in the small blind. There's a straddle and a limper from the low jack. I decide to open a 30. Probably should be going a little bigger here or just straight up folding. Absolutely folding. Folds to the limper who tank calls. Like, he takes a minute and a half before calling. So heads up to a flop where there's no way he can be too strong. Flop is not bad. Queen 8-4 rainbow. Not a bad spot when you're bluffing and make top pair. I continue for 25 and he doesn't think too long before min clicking the 50. This is a very weird spot. Not too sure we could have maybe pocket fours. Or maybe a hand like Queen 9 suited. Anyhow, great price. Backdoor flush draw. I call. The turn is the 9 of clubs, so Jack 10 completes. That's basically it. Nothing else is beating us. Nothing new is beating us other than Jack 10. I check and he continues again for 50. I can never really see how he has a good hand here and why he would bet the same amount if he had a great hand. I call and this brings the 5 of clubs on the river. I don't see how I can ever fold now, giving me top and bottom if he shoves, but what a miserable spot to be in after I check and he goes all in for 201. What the hell do we do here? I tank for about a minute before deciding I just think he's full of it, and I make the call. He turns over Queen 10 of clubs for runner flush, but to be fair, he was ahead the whole way. This is why you fold these frickin' hands pre-flop. Moving right along, I have Queen 10 off in the cutoff and open to 15 after a limp to isolate. If you're playing a game here, 1-2, 1-3, 2-5, it's just fine to fold as well. But the plan works out because he's the only caller, so heads up to a flop of Queen Jack 4 with 2 diamonds. Decent flop. After he checks, I continue for 20 and he calls pretty quickly. This brings us to the turn, which is the 9 of diamonds. Turn giving me an open-ended straight draw, but completing the flush. He checks again, and I decide to check it back, just trying to get the showdown now. The river is the king of hearts, giving me a straight, and he decides to check again, so a very clear value bet here. I decide to bet 40. He cuts out calling chips, and then after about 30 seconds, decides to raise to $90. Like, I'm assuming we're chopping here around 99% of the time, or he's bluffing maybe, but this is a very hard bluff to find, I think. He's definitely not a capable player to be checking a flush twice, turn and river. But what is cutting out calling chips and then decides to raise? I have no idea. I do put in the call, and he turns over ace 10 with the ace of diamonds for a better straight. Fuck. In this next one, it's about 10 minutes later, and I'm in the big blind with 9-10 of clubs. Henry opens from under the gun to $17. It folds all the way to me, and I decide to put in the call, not being super deep. I think three betting works sometimes, but I decide to call. Heads up to a really good flop of Queen Jack 7 with two spades. I check, and he continues for 15. This is a little small if you ask me, but it'll work. I decide to put pressure on right away with the raise to 45. He doesn't think long before calling, which is great news. Kinda. And it is great news when the turn is the bink 8 of clubs, giving me the nuts. Nothing to do here but continue, as I would with all my bluffs, as well as unblocking all of his strongest hands, like sets, two pairs, over pairs. I bet $40, picking a size that's actually on the smaller side, but setting up for a very easy river jam. Like if he had a hand like aces or kings, I don't think he'd be able to fold the turn, but a hand like ace king would have to stay around for this price, and ace queen, ace jack, probably, etc. So yeah, the smaller size. I actually like my size here. He puts in the call, and the river is the beautiful six of hearts. Spades miss, and he won't give me any credit here. I Hollywood for a little bit before going all in for $100 exactly. He doesn't like it, but he puts in the call. I show, and it's good. I guess his hand after, and he said he had kings. Makes sense. A little while later, I peel queen 10 off yet again and raise to 25 after two limps. It folds all the way around to the guy on my right, who I've been bantering with all night. He's a great guy. I tell him he can fold or call either way, I don't really care. He calls, and he can literally have any two cards here. I'm very confident I'm ahead. And the flop comes King 10-7 rainbow. He checks, and I continue for 20. He puts in the call, so I'm instantly putting him on 9 or a 7. The turn is an 8, giving me an open-ended straight draw. He checks, and I decide to check because he can have a lot of two pairs that I shouldn't really be having here. The river is a board pairing 7, which is a great card because now I can bluff and pretend like I have a king, and it makes it less likely he has a 7. And he decides to lead for $20. I can't call, and I don't want to fold, especially for this price. I think it's just too small, feigning weakness. So I decide to turn my hand into a bluff, blocking straights and strong kings. So I raise to 100. He goes deep into the tank, cuts out chips, holds his card like he wants to fold, then eventually calls, which is terrible news, and shows 6-7 off for trips, which I didn't really think he would have here, at least not that often, but fuck. This session is just super brutal, and the very next hand after that one, I fold ace 7 off under the gun with a 7 of diamonds. I don't remember what the pre-flop action was, but I would have hit runner runner straight flush with one card, and that counts as the high hand. So I would have won $1,000 US. This is just such a bad run. This is really hurts. For this next one, I look down at jacks and open to $25 after one limp and a button straddle. I'm under the gun. The button calls, and so does the big blind. So three ways to a flop of 8-8-5, two diamonds. Not bad considering the draws. So when the big blind checks, I continue for 20, and the button now goes all in for his remaining $99. The big blind folds. I just snap call. The turn is the 7 of diamonds, so terrible card. And the river is the 3 of spades. I show, and for thank God, it's good.
Oh God, I would have won.
The classic I would have won, Jesus. This very next hand, I look down at pocket jacks and have to fold to a flop bet with two overcards on it. And then the very next hand, I look down at pocket aces in early position, three pocket pairs in a row. This is awesome. There's a raise to $20. I three bet to 60, and he snap jams for 120. I snap call. The flop comes king queen 3 rainbow. Turn is a 7, and river's another queen. I show, and he shows ace king of spades for top, but that's no good. I guess I'm running good against this guy. That brings us to the last interesting hand of the night, where I look down at jack 8 of spades and call a raise of $20. This brings us three ways to a decent flop of 8-7 deuce with two hearts. Top pair is not bad. It gets checked to me, and I decide to stab for 25. The initial razor folds, which is good, but the player to my right calls. He's the guy who can have absolutely any two cards. The turn is the Jack of Diamonds giving me top two, and just I'm so confident we have the best hand. He checks, and I bet $30 having an easy river jam here, and he puts in the call pretty quickly. The river is the four of hearts completing the front door flush, and he now leads for $100, putting me all in, and this is just horrible. Like, I know this is such an underbluff spot, but this guy can literally have anything. I go into the tank for at least a minute before asking to see one of his cards. He shows the seven of hearts, so he flopped a pair, and this is just a card that is, like, he probably has a flush, but it's maybe 50-50 if he just has a seven or a worse two pairs. I tank for about 4 minutes before finally calling, and he flips over a seven of hearts for the nuts, and this is just terrible. I shortly after cash out. Well, I didn't have any money, but Henry lost a few big pots, so he cashed out as well, and let's just head to this outro. I hate this place. I don't think I played that badly. What am I supposed to fucking do against this guy who will have it? I don't know. Honestly, I think he has it there 30% of the time, has a flush, and then the other parts, it's like I'm just winning after he shows the seven of hearts. Let me guys know what you guys would do there. I know it's super underbluffed, but this guy, just one of the maniacs. In for 800, out for 0. Fucking terribly dark. Puck was in for 900, out for like, it's like holding his chips, going to put him on black right now. I'll film that for the end. I think he has like 150. We both just got torched at the Hard Rock. Oh wow. They're fighting. But what a beautiful casino. We'll probably be back tomorrow. Did not fire in the tournament because my bankroll is simply $3,000 US, and that is I don't know, too much of it to fire in a tournament. And I don't want to grind a tournament for a few days when we're leaving. Hopefully you guys can hear me, the music's a little loud, but I will film Henry putting $150 on black right now, and wish him luck, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This place is awesome, I highly recommend it. Wild spot compared to Canada, people just smoking out in the frickin' casino anywhere they want. Like, this is wild. Anyways, thank you so much. Peace. He won the hand. It was 165. He won. You cannot make this up. He had a 9 versus a dealer 7 for a $75 hand after he won the initial one. Double down, obviously. Hit a jack, 19. Dealer flips 15, and then a 6 for a 21. Just killing the mood. We both walk out with $0. Fuck. Peace.